How was your pee break?
My pee break.
They might flash you undetected.
Random, baby.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me. Quite an intro.
Let's address the elephant in the room. That's not the elephant in the room. There's no elephant. Nobody cares.
I too am a thought criminal.
Good. Well, I like you already.
Does this look like a girl who's joking around?
No.
Around? But how much do you actually understand money? Especially the new wave. Beauty or intelligence? When you unleash both, it is men's kryptonite. Welcome to Talk to Me, Taylor. All right, everybody. I am going to start off. I'm not going to do you dirty. I'm going to start off with a spoiler alert. We are indeed in a simulation. No, that's not a spoiler. We already know that. No, the spoiler is about obsession. So if you haven't seen it, get with it or get lost. You understand? Shout out to the millennials who know that reference. John Legend in the comments. Reunited and it feels so good. It's so good to be back with you guys. It's like I'm getting warmed up, back on the mic, and I'm going to be 100 with you. Okay. I'm kind of going a little bit rogue as I did in the old days. I don't have this too much prep, but it's prepped in the map of my mind. Do you know what I mean? Lately, my team and I don't know if you guys could see this because there were times when I was reading. I'm not good at scripted. I'm just going to say it. It is not my forte. I've never done the teleprompter thing. Like Kimmel, Fallon, all these clowns get at me. And so you guys could probably maybe see in the last couple episodes, I was trying to have a little bit more like preparation and structure. And I was reading off of my notes as if I was in the 5th grade spelling bee. But tonight we're saying no more and we're going rogue. And so these are just the thoughts off the top of my blonde brain. And so keep the comments coming. And now that I've given you enough time and enough foreplay to lubricate your brains and other things maybe, and give you enough of a heads up, pun intended if you want it to be innuendo maybe, about obsession, your time's up. Okay. So here's what I'm thinking. I am Nikki from Obsession. And it's not just me. Here's a spoiler. I think we all are. I think that we are all Nikki from Obsession because we are all, tell me if I'm crazy. I feel like you guys, like many of you are so like-minded. I feel like we are trapped inside a world that we are just screaming and dying to get out of. I know I'm not, I mean, I'm crazy. You know, I'm just, just like the rest of these crazy bitches out here, Nikki style or not. It's up for interpretation. But do you know what I mean? I've been really reconciling with this lately. And I'm like, why do because even though I seem like a cutthroat bitch on the show, like many of you, I'm sure, I'm very sensitive, intuitive, empathetic, and just picking up on all the crazy in the world. And I'm thinking, why do I feel so much inside? And when you feel like you want it to just like burst and what you feel inside hasn't quite materialized in the physical. And you're like, wait, the two things don't match. It is giving Nikki. It is giving Nikki so much so. Hey, Pyramid 7. Are you talking? He said, saw you earlier. You were awesome on Kevin's show. Yes. Pun confirmed. We love a good pun. Yeah. Right. Pyramid 7 saying I can see and feel it too. And it makes you just like Nikki. It makes you feel like you are fucking crazy. And I realize this has been the story of my life. And this is why I am so tortured. And like, don't let the blonde fool you, okay? Because it's existentialville all day up in this bitch. But this is what I mean, guys. The culture, the world, the tech lords, the algorithms are Nickifying us into these boxes and confining us. Like this world, the internet, the way we think is the place where nuance goes to die. And they want to confine you, right? And put you in these ways of being, whether it's how you do things, whether it's what you think. And I'm just going to go on like a 2-second pity party here. I've talked before about the struggle of kind of being ahead or not fitting neatly into a box. even the way I did things, like the celebrity interviews I did on the red carpet with a selfie stick, 10 years before its time. Right now we see every Tom, Dick, Harry, comic, YouTuber, this person doing that style. And I'm like, I'm bored. And I don't know about you in your respective field, but it's like I never quite fit. I never fit into, the cookie cutter entertainment correspondent. Oh, tell me about the project. Don't worry, we're going to get to the Nolan of it all. And even politically, and this is what I'm really hitting on, I never fit neatly into the box of what they wanted me to be. And I'm sure similarly with you guys, they want it to be clear cut, left or right. As a woman, you're the pinup with tits out, or you're the librarian valedictorian. And it's the us inside screaming to get out. And again, I attribute a lot of that to the algorithms. It's like the fact that people can't manage to wrap their heads around the fact that, okay, maybe I can have empathy and sympathy for a trans person and their experience. And maybe at the same time, we can also have a little common sense about it. And I don't need Sasquatch Leah Thomas throwing down with me in the pool. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, no, it has to be one or the other. And it's killing us. I mean, I don't know about you guys. It's like, I feel so trapped in a world that wants you to be so, like I said, restricted and confined. And again, a lot of this is because of what the algorithms feed us. And again, we've seen, the jerk off Olympics to the people who are the loudest and who are the most polarizing. Half the time, Sunny Hostin, Rob and I had this whole debate the other day with Sunny Hostin out here, like thinking she's, about to get dragged through the streets by an Islamic regime by seeing, American flags. It's like, do they actually believe half of this shit that they say? Like, please phone a friend. And don't you want to just like scream? I'm just like, I feel I am Nikki. Nikki is me. Being like, this can't be it. Like, this can't. So it's really very meta, actually. What beautifully represents this is the movie Obsession. And it did do a really successful job thus far at breaking out of said machine and matrix. That is the Mesozoic era, archaic, fossil ass Hollywood execs, dinosaurs, who, again, I have been in a Nikki moment, been screaming from the rooftops from inside the machine of Hollywood for years. These people literally implode at anything somewhat out of the box or original. I don't know if I told you, you guys may have seen in the interview I did with Larry Namer, who was the co-founder of E! Network. Such a crazy 360 moment that I ended up meeting him, because it was always like my dream to be an E! reporter, but it didn't fit in the box. But when I went to E! and I had a meeting in the conference room, like with all these execs, and I was showing them my selfie sticks. A little bit is in my show intro, and their jaws were on the floor. They were like, wow, you're bald. Like, I think they actually were wearing Depends and shit their pants right there. Like, they were just like, what does this do? This isn't Ryan Seacrest, but malfunction, right? Their brains literally unravel at the thought of anything innovative, forward thinking. Hence why we have 15 million superhero movies. That is like one big bukkake on Superman that literally no one asked for. Why we needed a Jurassic Park 500th installment. Why we needed an Overboard reboot. Why we needed an all-female Ghostbusters reboot. I don't know if we will ever have the answers to those, but actually we will. And it's because of this, right? Because Hollywood is that machine, that very machine that we're talking about. One of them, right? You could look at a million tech, corporations, pharma, government, all these little ecosystems of the bubbles we're just screaming to get out of. And it drove me crazy, guys. It drove me nuts. I mean, you can imagine when I was in Hollywood, it was increasingly harder to do what I did, the way that I did it, which was so foreign to them, and what I talked to them about. We're going to talk about The Rock too, and the controversy he's facing, which is nuts. Talk about being ahead. He would vibe here. He would vibe, by the way, on Talk to Me, Taylor. Like, I will rub his bald little Buddha head and we can just get down with it. But it was becoming increasingly harder because the bubble, the machine, the fake Nikki was getting more controlling and like suppressive. And that's why Obsession is so amazing, because it was created by a YouTuber. So someone like a disruptor out of the machine, and made on a baby budget, $750K, and has gone on. People are saying it's like redefined the horror genre, redefined film. It's gone on to, it's broken records, made 400 million worldwide. And listen, I'm someone who is always skittish on the YouTuber thing, because it's like, all right, what are we like? You guys know your vibe is vibing with mine when it comes to like the influencer YouTuber of it all. But I'm loving this, because it's like, yes, disrupt the dinosaurs, go bury them with the fossils in the company that they belong. Okay. In the depths of Indiana Jones's nightmares, and show them how it's done. So Hollywood, they're coming for your ass. And I love to see it, because you guys, there were so many nights, even still, where I would kick and scream, and sometimes actually quite literally cry, like I was actually 45 minutes ago. But that's neither here nor there. Talk about my personal diary about why can't they take a chance? Why can't they see this? Why can't they? Why? And it's just operating out of pure fear. And well, we know that this will work, and what will make us money. I will give you a hint. Nobody gives two flying fucks about the Overboard reboot. Never mind, how are you going to do Goldie? How are you going to do my girl Goldie Hawn like that? Okay, that's another situation that I need to take you up on. And that's why I'm living for all of this. Guys, they're so boring, vanilla, dumb, and money hungry. I will never forget this, because I used to travel on the big Marvel and DC comic, like blockbuster movie sets around the world, and interview the stars. And so I went on the live action Mulan set, and they did Mulan dirty with this too. I used to love Mulan. You want to talk about like a non-virtue signaling, just pure female kick-ass power? Mulan, bitch. And I went on the live action set, and I was so excited. And they were telling us all this jibber jabber about how they were tweaking all the, even like, the Eddie Murphy little side character, the sidekick, like tweaking all of these things to the whole appropriation thing. Oh, appropriating Chinese culture, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Do you think that an audience who's entertained is going to give two fucks when we're singing along to Let's Get Down to Business? Yeah, no. But they were trying to change every little detail to cater to a Chinese audience. And this is the bullshit part of it. Not to, on the surface, yes, to be more politically correct, but why? To cater to a Chinese audience, because trust me, Hollywood cinema is their holy grail, and they will pay, and that's where the money comes from. So it's just like the whole idea again of like selling their souls and being sellouts to what they think, versus like, oh, I don't know, pure creativity, originality. And I think what this whole obsession phenomenon is encapsulating is that it's like the underdog story. So if I couldn't quite do it to the capacity I wanted to in Hollywood, thank you, Curry Barker, for doing it on behalf of all of us. I'm just going to catch up on some comments here. Hey guys, it's Glockner. Good to see you. I'm sorry I'm behind. I don't know what the 100 was about. Yeah, I've lost count of all the boxes I have. Put the boxes in the comments. I would love to see. I mean, mine, it's like, depending on who you ask, right? She, only does pop culture. No, she doesn't do just pop culture well enough as a pure entertainment journalist. She's too conservative. No, she's too not conservative. She's showing too much cleavage. No, if you didn't show so much cleavage, people would be able to understand you. But it's like, I'm so tired of it. And this is what I mean. It's like, it just literally makes me want to scream. And I'm going to be honest with you too. Even the shorts I've been doing on social media, a part of it to me feels like shape-shifting and contorting. I'm like, this isn't who I am. I'm trying to give my opinion on something that's layered and complex in 30 seconds to fit an algorithm. It's like everybody is like just again, the boxes, like the Nickies, like screaming out. It's like there's no room for any sort of thought or nuance. Like, God forbid. Cracker Jacks, Apple Smacks. Pyramid 7, the horror movie Obsession. You have to see it. I, full disclosure, have been sleeping with the lights on ever since I watched it. So that's that, but it's so good. And that's what's so genius. It's like in a world of like the superhero CGI, all this. They had such a little budget. They had to get so creative. They just used like makeup and camera angles and dark silhouettes. And I love the whole thing. I'm just living for the whole underdog story. So let's go. Now, quite a juxtaposition, which is why I think it's so fascinating. All of this is playing out at the same time. And I talked about this, by the way, with Kevin Smith yesterday on his show, The Loud Majority, but Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey and James Gunn's Supergirl. So this is all playing out at the same time. And it's so interesting because it's like the David and Goliath, and you have like the indie YouTuber obsession taking over. And then you have, and also Spider-Man, what is it? Brand New Day is going to come out. How they come up with these names, by the way, I need to know. I picture it's like an 8-ball, and it's like it just comes up with these obscure, like random, arbitrary, just really random sayings that have nothing to do with anything. And they're like, that's it. That's the one. Brand New Day. No Way Home. Like, it's way to gather and inspire the masses. Like, so obscure. But it's so interesting to see all of this playing out at the same time. So look, guys, all I'll say is, again, it's where in my mind, it's all one big machine. There's controversy both around Nolan's The Odyssey. People are saying it's cinematic genius. Dare I say, I think sometimes Christopher Nolan could be a tad overrated. I said it, but hey, what do I know? Maybe it's amazing. There's politics in it, because politics and pop culture now, they're one and the same. Let's be real. And a lot of that, I told Kevin this on the show. Obviously a lot of that is because of Trump, who kind of reality TV'd, gamified politics, but it just is what it is. It's the left's AOC. You know what I mean? But Christopher Nolan's getting flack because even if this is a cinematic masterpiece and the IMAX and the whole thing and a huge budget and the whole spectacle, and I'm sure it will make a ton of money. I want to see it, but it's definitely giving checklist. It is definitely giving doing the most. Like, do we have a person, with one eyebrow, with a snaggletooth, with a stray hair, with 9 toes, with a cast on their wrist? Like, it's definitely giving that. You have like Helen of Troy is Lupita Nyong'o. You have like Ellen Page. You got the token trans person. You got like the black girls and like you got one of everything. You know what I mean? So I don't know. And then it gets into the whole debate, like, is Lupita Nyong'o the most beautiful woman on earth, like Helen of Troy was? And then that's a whole debate about objectively, what is beautiful. And actually, there's psychological studies about this, okay? And I learned that I have a psych minor from Penn State, but also when I brushed up in human sexuality and psychology at Los Angeles Community College, baby. But they actually did show what's universally like the most beautiful for a man and a woman. And it's kind of like what you would expect, like the usual suspects. For a woman, it's like big lips, big eyes, like small nose, like youthful looking. And for a guy, it's kind of like, for me, it's a little too pretty boy, but it's like Henry Cavill, Superman, like the jaw and the whole thing. Anyways, it's this whole debate of like, is she really the most beautiful woman in the world? Some think she is. It's like, oh, because it's another token black woman, the whole thing. To me, look, I was vocal about this since they put all these rules in place. Remember the Oscar inclusion rules, that it was like, if you have to, if you want to get nominated or win, you have to have this or this. And I went on Fox News at the time on Brett Baer's special report. And I just said, again, this is from like screaming out from inside the machine. But I just think that it is putting a checklist on art, and to let art be art. Kevin and I yesterday were talking about like The Birdcage, so many great movies about gay people, trans, or, whatever it is. So many great movies about, with black stories in American history, all these things. But it's like, when it starts to feel contrived or like a checklist, it just feels inauthentic to me. It just feels fake. And I think Christopher Nolan is a little bit doing the most with this. I do. And, when I picture Helen of Troy, I picture like, olive skin and long flowy hair and just goddess feminine. That's just me. Hot is hot. And that brings us to the Supergirl thing, because that also, it's bombing, by the way, And I guess the actress, who again, to some isn't the most like objectively quote unquote beautiful. She's a little more like rugged, masculine looking. here's my thing. Maybe it's just not a great movie. I haven't seen it, so I can't attest to it yet, but I did see Toy Story 5, so I can get you up to speed on that all day long. And yes, I did cry a little in the end. And I saw a review today that was super fair. And the guy said, it's not like she's hot to this, if she's not, it just wasn't that great. It was anticlimactic. I wanted to see her like kick ass and be a badass. I don't feel like I got any of that. Unfortunately, and I hate when women do this. I hate when rich, powerful, successful Hollywood women do this. Like, girl, you're Supergirl. Like, wear that shit on your sleeve. Don't let these people be your kryptonite and burn up into the sun, okay? But blaming the audience for just being misogynistic, this, maybe part of that is true. And again, the part where nuance goes to die. I'm sure that Daily Wire is doing a whole kit and caboodle about this, right? And skewering her. Maybe there's partially is true. The incels of the internet who don't want anything to do with Supergirl and blah, blah. That's true. Okay. Maybe these guys can, work on getting a job outside of, Taco Bell and work on their beer gut out of their mom's basement while they're at it. But that's their life. But I hate the cop out of doing that and just blaming the audience, like with this general thing of like, well, that's why. Again, maybe it just wasn't a good movie. And I have to say, as being on the front line of this wave and being really involved in it as it was like taking off and really like made waves, that was opposite of this was Wonder Woman. I was very much, I interviewed the cast, and Patty Jenkins, who directed it. And she, by the way, broke records at the time as a female director for this big superhero movie, making all this box office records, all this, but interviewing Gal Gadot, Chris Pine. And I never got this vibe. I've interviewed Patty many times. She never pulled the female card of like, woe is me. She's like, you know what? I'm going to go in. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to do it better than the rest. And I'm going to make my coin, and make an impact. Gal Gadot, same thing. And I'm not going to retell the whole story right now. I told it on Kevin's show on The Loud Majority. But when I went on the set of Wonder Woman 84 in London and talked to her, and I just felt like I never got that vibe. And by the way, Wonder Woman did just this, right? I didn't like 84, but the first one, I remember seeing it with my mom. My parents came to visit me in LA. We went to the cool Century City Mall to see it at a special press screening. And my mom and I left being like, yeah, the little wonder. It was just sheer Gal Gadot is that beautiful, powerful, kick fucking ass, take no prisoners. It's we didn't need a whole speech. We saw it and it was everything. And I feel like on and off screen, they never played the victim. And I think that is so powerful. By the way, speaking of playing the victim, did you guys see, if you haven't read my recent Substack on Talk to Me Substack about the CDC is very much investigating, I am sure of it, the contagion epidemic of these rich, powerful, privileged American women saying that they're so oppressed by the victimization machine and patriarchy of America, guys. And their, multi-million dollar, estates and businesses. But Emily Ratajkowski, who I mentioned in it, she just announced today that she's writing a book of which she wrote based on an op-ed that I talk about in the Substack. And she got a 7-figure book deal. So that's oppression if I ever saw it. So yeah, as per most of my work, that piece is aging well. It just came out today. I was like, there you go. So, I think, again, and with all of these stories, right, they want us to be in boxes or they will simply pass away, right? With Nolan, oh, this has to be the best thing I've ever seen. This is a cinematic, da, da, da. Or it has to be like Ben Shapiro and his team literally having a mental breakdown and need to be put in straitjackets because he had a checklist of DEI. It's okay, how about both things can be true? Maybe it's a really good fucking movie and he did have his little checklist on set. Supergirl, same thing. Maybe she's not a Lola Bunny, Pam Anderson bombshell. Maybe we just wanted to see her kick more ass. Maybe some people think it's a decent Thor level superhero movie. Maybe they wanted more action. It's okay. It's okay. It doesn't have to be so extreme of she is the most hideous thing on the planet. Or no, this is a cinematic masterpiece merely because it is fronted by a woman. What are we doing? Why? What is the point? And this brings me lastly, you will fall off your seat if you haven't heard about this. And I know we're going a little over today, but we're making up for lost time. The controversy around The Rock. You want to talk about being Nicki-fied and screaming out? Wait until I tell you this. So I'm just going to catch up on some comments first. I hope they don't ruin Spider-Man. It's a good run so far. You know, it's so interesting to me because it's projected to make, I think, 5 or 550 globally opening weekend. And again, to see, and it has the whole manpower, right, of MCU and this whole and it's lighting people up, and it's a whole, both trailers broke records. And so to see something like The Little Train That Could, again, The Obsession, go pretty much like give it a run for its money, 400 million, not opening weekend, but thus far, I fucking love it. I love the underdog. I love the outsider. I love like the renegade outside thinker. It's just really just does something to my nipples. I am waiting for actors to be replaced with AI. So Glocknor, I'm actually going to do a thing coming up about Tilly Norwood, who is starting a whole controversy about AI actors, and this is a real thing. And first, it was a whole thing, you know, a whole conundrum because I think got like actual representation by WME, and can you imagine like you have actors out here who are like slaving away, just like working the night shift at Hooters for years and like doing all this bitch work to try to like make it in Hollywood, and like would die to be rep by a WME only for a robot to take your place. And now she is starring in a movie, so it's like been resurfaced. I have thoughts on this. I can do a whole other episode on it. I mean, my thoughts are basically like, everyone is so robotic anyway. It's kind of what I was talking about earlier. Everybody contorts and is, you know, mushed into this version of what the algorithm dictates them to be, the world, what they think they should be. Like, basically what I'm trying to say is everybody is a bunch of robots anyways. Like, celebrities are, let's be real, you think we're seeing the real them. Like, they put on a facade. These influencers are a robot who do like a whole song and dance and monkey routine to be in the algorithm. So everyone out here is acting like a robot anyway. So why are we afraid of the real robots? Like, at this point, I mean, seriously. And that's why I think again, I keep bringing it back to, it's like, but us dying to break out ultimately has to and will, because that's the only thing that's going to survive. It's true, because no robot can truly replicate. I don't think AI could have made like, Obsession is pure genius, human touch, creativity. Any flair of that originality that just can't be duplicated. That's why all of these influencers are going to be fucked. Like, it is going to be the rapture, because they are just following a formulaic thing of what they think they have to do. Actors, same thing, some of them. And, you know, they're going to see. So whatever can be held on to that is so truly authentic, that's going to be the money, because that can't be replicated. I love the series. I loved the Supergirl series back in the day for the first few seasons. Destroyed it later with woke. Yeah. I couldn't finish the series. I loved it at first. I know they tend to do that. You are full of info today. I think you had too much coffee. You know what's funny is, I'm going to just be real with you guys. I actually have had a really emotional day. I actually haven't had as much coffee. I have stuff going on just on the personal side and, you know, woman stuff. And I was like, I have to get my head in the game for this episode. And like I said, Glockner, you missed the beginning, but I talked about, I talked about in the beginning how I was just kind of going rogue with this from the thoughts in my head. I didn't have too much of a blueprint. And I guess it all had to come out how it came out, no robots included. And so I didn't actually have the coffee I wanted to before this. And I thought I would actually be a little bit lower energy because I've been going through it today with some stuff. But good, bad? I don't know. You tell me. Maybe it's just like you guys have to bring notes next time to keep up with all of this coffee brain or not. Okay, so lastly is The Rock story. And if you remember, the last election cycle, I believe it was, did a post for Biden. And so he is back in the press junket circuit, movie promos, not for another Jumanji, which brings me to my earlier point, the audacity of those, like the budget and the money making and money laundering that goes into those. No, but for Moana, live action Moana. And apparently he is getting a lot of flack, and this is what I'm talking about, for basically just being common sense. He's getting flack from inside Hollywood. And they're saying he's a coward. They're saying this because he isn't speaking up vocally, politically. And he's been saying, it was a recent interview he did with Esquire. And he said, what I do is art. I don't want to bring politics into it. I made a mistake with Biden because it just fueled the fire of this deeply divided state and this toxicity and the polarization. And I'm not going to do that again. And it's not my place. And, and then he went into, it was either this or in prior interviews, but again, what I've been saying and screaming for fucking years. And they all looked at me like I had 3 heads from inside the machine, 8 years ago. But just how nonsense all of it is, the thought control, and you have to think this or be in this camp, and the cancel culture of it all, and just, casting labels on people, and just all of that, again, like common sense. And again, on one end of it, it drives me a little nuts because it's like, I know we've been saying this, like I'm bored. I'm bored, just like I'm bored by the content creator, like doing selfie stick style, like I'm bored. But it also just makes me sad because it's like, this is what I'm talking about. It's like people are so Neanderthal thinking and simpletons that somebody with a fair, honest take, it's like the Matthew McConaughey, and he skews a little more right for sure. But it's like the fact that is attacked and criticized. Like, are you guys okay? And it makes me sad for like the state of the world for those people. It's like, are you that tribal in your thinking that something as fair and balanced and is actually like, I'm gonna bow out, but like common sense is ridiculed? I mean, again, I saw it from inside the machine. I've said, you can imagine my anxiety every time I wanted to ask somebody something somewhat out of the box or provocative or thought-provoking or somewhat like where they'd have to use a brain cell, right? And like, again, they and their entire team would just like implode on the spot and turn into dust. But the fact that it's still playing out now is really just a sight to see. And so I'm going to finish these because I have one last thought. I agree. Oh, thank you, Glockner. You're doing great. Good for him. Thank you. Stay positive. I appreciate you guys being here. I was like afraid I was going to talk to like my mom, who actually doesn't even watch my show. So thank you guys so much. It makes it all so worth it. And as we figure all this out together and get out of the fake Nikki of it all, right? And that's the last thing I'll say with all of this is, as much as they try to, and however it is in your respective journey, maybe it's, your role or your presence as a man, as a woman in your field, politically, whatever it is, trying so hard to force us into a box. And again, like being the Nikki, right? Trying to scream our way out and claw our way out of what just doesn't feel real, the shell in the world that's put upon us and that we're trying to get out of and doesn't feel real to us, because it's like, there has to be more. Like, this can't be it, just like her. And it's like, you can see it, you can feel it, but like, why isn't it here? And all I will say is, just like the movie, once we get out and once we do break out, even if we have to see the shambles of what that looks like around us, even if it's messy, even if it's dark, like in the case of the movie, at least, like her, at least we're free. So that's all I have to say today. Thank you guys for joining. I will see you next Thursday. And you can always hit me up in the DMs. And until then, just try to Nickify yourself. No, last comment, not Nicki Minaj, Nikki in Obsession. Be kind, rewind the beginning of this ep and you will see. All right, good night, guys. Love you.
Chris, how was your pee break?
My pee break.
They might flash you on TikTok.
Random baby.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me. Quite an intro.
Let's address the elephant in the room. That's not the elephant in the room. There's no elephant. Nobody cares. I too am a thought criminal.
Good. Well, I like you already.
Does this look like a girl who's joking around?
No.
Around?
But how much do you actually understand money? Especially the new wave.
beauty or intelligence. When you unleash both, it is meant